Hey everybody, I'm Amanda and welcome to my channel. So I just want to say first off, as the screen says, I do realize about halfway through this video that I am off the bottom of the screen and I do fix it in camera. Otherwise, it's going to be off just the very bottom of it. So you may or may not remember me from a couple of years ago on YouTube. I did have a handful of videos on YouTube, not very many. I have since taken them down. I kind of got out of the scrapbooking on YouTube world, and honestly, out of scrapbooking in general. But I am back and loving it, and so glad to be back in the community. The reason that I wanted to start making videos again is I really wanted to be connected to the scrapbooking community again. It's ever since COVID, everything's just kind of going to crap. Can I be real? There's not been really any in-person crops, and I don't have anybody local to me that I can scrapbook with on a whim. You know, if I do have friends that scrapbook, but it takes planning because we are all in different locations an hour or so apart from each other and own families with our own jobs and own schedules. So I just wanted to be able to have a space where I can create and share. So as this video goes on, I'm going to talk about the video and what I'm doing, of course, but I am going to talk a little bit about me. So I'll start with what I've got going on right now. So at the beginning of the video, I had pulled out a handful of butterfly papers. And as you can see in the picture, I've got obviously butterflies, and the little ones that I cut up are all different butterflies. And my best friend and I the other day went to a place in Wilmington called the Airlie Gardens that has a butterfly house. Now, we weren't there for the release, but we did go in the butterfly house afterwards. And I knew I wanted to do a scrapbook layout of the butterflies with butterfly paper, of course, but I just wanted to make sure that it kind of fit the vibe. So the first couple papers that I had, you may have to go back to the beginning of the video, but they felt too cartoonish. So I was kind of trying to decide between this one that I ended up choosing and another one from Vicki Boutin that was just, I believe it was black and cream. They felt more realistic versus more cartoonish. Now the other ones are very pretty, but they just didn't fit the right vibe. So I decided to go with this one since it pulled in the orange of the butterflies that are in that picture, the large picture. So what I've got here are just some 3x4s of different of 3x4 pictures of some different butterflies, and I wanted to include them but didn't necessarily want to make a whole page for each of them. And I'm just making a little sticky note here. So that top picture, I do want to print out 4x6. That bottom picture that you can't see, I first thought I wanted to print it out at 4x6, but ultimately I changed my mind, and you'll see what I end up doing with it. But I'm just using, I believe it's a close to my heart page insert that has 3 6x4 slots. So of course I'm doing the finger tippy taps because I'm trying to think. So I saved you from all that thinking and all that trying to figure out what I was going to do, and ended up cutting a piece of the paper from a Vicki Boutin, maybe Stay Sweet. Nope, it is Vicki Boutin Color Study 6x8 paper pad. So a little bit about me. I am married almost 10 years now. We have 3 fur pups and a fur cat that's my husband's, that's not my cat. Um, I've been scrapbooking honestly since before I was a teenager, more consistently since I got married and had my own dedicated space for scrapbooking. Whereas before, I would just kind of have to scrapbook when I was at home, you know, growing up as a kid, teenager. I would have to scrapbook on my bed, and then whenever I was done scrapbooking, I would have to clean everything up, and then, you know, if I wanted to scrapbook again, I would have to take everything back out. It just was such a hassle, so I didn't scrapbook very often. But I do have a whole dedicated room for it. My husband says it looks like a store, but I love it. So we don't have any human kids, but like I said, we do have the fur kids. We have 2 black labs, and we have a little wiener dog. And as you get to know me, you will know that Dachshunds are my entire personality, and I love Dachshunds, and yep, they are just perfect. So here I am finally realizing that I'm off screen. So I remembered to zoom my camera out a little bit. You just bear with me as I'm getting used to filming again. So what I'm doing here is there were some tickets in a Vicky Bouton. I don't remember which collection it was. The way I store my die cuts is by designer. I don't store them by collection. So I apologize for that. I will try to link anything I can down there in the description, but I will try to find them. But offhand, I'm not sure which collection they came from. But I did save you watching me going through all of my Vicky Bouton stuff just to find what I wanted to use on these basically page and a half. Butterflies came from the same collection as the tickets, but I don't think it was the same collection as the background paper, but they were orange and they still kind of felt like they went. And I'm just trying to find some stuff to tuck in there to I'm loving the little cluster that I have, but I'm feeling like it's blending into the background of the butterflies. So handy dandy labels from a Heidi Swapp collection right there, as well as a label from a 49th and Market, a 49 and Market. I can't remember exactly how it's said. A little pink label there. Now, those pieces right there are almost chipboard. They are pretty thick and pretty sturdy. I do like them. I just don't like how easily they come out of the page or the little perforations, so they're kind of hard to keep intact. I just stuck a pop dot behind the butterfly as well as the top of the little binder clip. I'm just flipping through a Chamel paper pad to see if there's anything else. I still feel like I'm missing something behind that cluster to give it a little bit of separation, a little bit of distinction from the background. And if you hear me right now, I'm just flipping to my page so I can see it. Again, going through Chamel's Reason to Smile. The feel of Chamel's Reason to Smile doesn't fit the background paper, but some of the colors are there. So I felt like I could bring in some of the colors just to add to my cluster, even though the whole collection didn't have the same feel. So this is when I remember I have this paper, and I want to say this is from Chamel's Field Trip collection. And it's actually, I have a Canon Pixma, so I can print 12 by 12. And I want to say this is, I bought the collection on American Crafts or AC Digitals, and I printed it out because I didn't get my hands on a lot of Field Trip. And so I printed it out. So that's, once I flip this over, you'll see another pattern paper on the back of it. And I don't know if you bought the actual 12 by 12 pattern paper in store, if it's the same front and back. So I'm just tucking that in there. It's just a nice peach color, and the word that's on it, let me not butcher it, it's entomology. And it looks just kind of like a library card or something like that. So I'm sliding that over so I can work on my pocket page. And I did cut off the little bit of the ticket so I could save it over there just to have some coordination. I decided to bring in that orange label. And I am going to tuck that orange label somewhere else on the half page. I'm not going to completely get rid of it. So as you can see, a lot of these pictures, not a lot of these, a couple of these pictures look very similar, and they may in fact be the same butterfly, I don't know, but I was just really happy with how they turned out, and I've honestly never been that close to a butterfly and paid that much attention to them. I took my camera and I had my 50 mil on it, so I was able to snap a few pictures while they were kind of just sitting still. So if you live local to Wilmington and you've never been to the Airlie Gardens, I highly recommend it. Me and my best friend and her daughter spent about 2 hours just strolling and just kind of taking our time. And I was taking pictures, and you'll see a lot more of those. But it's very beautiful. A lot of Spanish moss. So you obviously don't have to have butterfly paper and embellishments to scrapbook butterflies. I just knew I had it in my stash. I hadn't used it. I had several different kinds, obviously, and hadn't used it and knew it would be perfect with this. And I was really excited, oddly enough, about going to the butterfly house at the Airlie Gardens. I'm not huge into like insects and stuff like that, but butterflies have a significant meaning to some people, and they kind of do for me, butterflies and dragonflies. So I was excited about going. I was excited about getting out of the house and just spending time with my best friend. You know, she lives 2 hours away from me. I don't get to see her a whole lot, so I was just excited about doing that. So right here, I'm trying to decide what I want behind that picture because I feel like it needs a little pop from the background. In the video, it's not as the picture doesn't get as lost in the background as it does in person. So I'm looking for something that ultimately end up with a scrap of vellum that I just cut a very small mat around the picture, and it gives it that little pop that I was looking for. So what I'm about to do is take all the bits and pieces that I cut off from my 12 by 12 layout and from the top card of the half page, and I'm just tucking them in here. That way everything is cohesive. You see the same colors, the same types of items, same types of ephemera across the page, so it all coordinates. So I'm just putting my butterfly on a pop dot. Now I didn't do that for the top one because I felt like it was heavy enough, but on the bottom I felt like I had some wiggle room and I could do that and it wouldn't be too intrusive in the picture. I'm just adding some enamel dots, and I do that to all three little areas. And those enamel dots are from Close to My Heart. I'm not sure what collection, but I've had them for several years, so I'm pretty sure they don't have them anymore. And here I'm trying to figure out what I want my title to be, and also what letters I want to use, what letter stickers I want to use. I ended up doing a mix. My favorite thing to do with titles is to mix different fonts and different types of stickers. And I end up spelling Butterfly House because it was the Airly Garden Butterfly House. And as you can see, some of my letters do end up on my picture and they kind of look like they're falling off. So when I go to find my letter stickers for my next word, for the word house, I'm looking for something that's not necessarily chunky, but something that I know is going to be long enough to create a shelf for the FLY of the word butterfly. Ultimately, I end up with the Fitzgerald font, and I think they're called something different now, but Chamel's last two collections had the same font. I love this font. It's my comfort font. It's my go-to font. I have several packages of the gold ones. I have 4 or 5 each of the packages of the purple and the blue. So if they get sold out, it's partially my fault. I just absolutely love this font. It fits so well in so many places. So right here, I'm kind of realizing that I like how my layout looks on the right side because of the basically the triangle that the 3 butterflies in the picture are making, and they're kind of pointing to the left. So I realized that I want my half page to be on the left, and I want you to be able to see both at the same time. So I'm just flipping it over here. Quick, simple fix. I still have to print out the 4x6, but I'll do that when I get some more ink for my printer. So that's the final layout. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Thanks, guys.